Hello all. So today I'm talking about a Dodge with the P0422 code, what it is and how you go about fixing it. So what is a Dodge P0422 code? Well, it's a main catalyst efficiency below threshold, bank 1. And what does this mean? Well, the Cadillac Converter is supposed to run at least 95% efficiency, and if it drops below this, then the onboard computer will see this and give out an error code. And bank 1 is always the side of the engine with the number 1 cylinder. So if you have a 4-cylinder, it wouldn't matter, but if you have a V6 or V8, look for where the number 1 cylinder is, the number 1 spark plug, and that's the side of the engine, and on that exhaust, that catalytic converter, that's the side that'll have the problem. And the catalytic converter, as most know, is located up underneath the vehicle. It'll be on the exhaust, and they're usually straightforward to change out. It'll depend on how rusted up the bolts are. Those are the main problem with these, is that the bolts become really rusted up, so they could be a pain sometimes to get out. If they're not rusted up real bad, then they're not too bad, but if they are rusted up, then they can be a bit of a pain. But they're pretty straightforward. You just jack up the vehicle, then you find your catalytic converter, unbolt it, and then you'd bolt in a new one. But before you change out the catalytic converter, there's a few things you could do first, and some other things that could cause a problem. And so the first thing to check would be your O2 sensors. You'll have two O2 sensors. You have an upstream and a downstream O2 sensor. And if these go bad, they can report back bad data. So there might be no problem with the catalytic converter, but the O2 sensors are reporting bad data. And that's a possibility. So it's something to keep in mind, or something to check first would be these O2 sensors. Either test them or possibly replace them. Be sure to check the wiring and the wiring harness, since bad wiring can cause the same symptoms as a bad sensor. And so there's two sensors. There'll be the upstream and the downstream sensor. And if you check out the O2 sensors and everything looks good with them, or you replace them or something along these lines, and you clear the error code and it still comes back, what most people do is they'll get some kind of cleaner. We jump over on Amazon, and there'll be some kind of they'll get some kind of cleaner like this Cadillac, which is a popular brand, but there's other ones, so you can get whatever one you want to get. But basically, they'll take this cleaner, they'll put it into the gas as a gas additive, and then they'll take the vehicle out onto a highway or freeway, and they'll rev it up. They'll take it, drive it like 15, 20 miles. Really revving up the engine to try to blow out the catalytic converter. Because buildup can happen inside of the catalytic converter, especially if it's only driven in the cities. If it's just driven around like 30, 40 miles an hour, that might never gotten blown out. So there could be an issue just with that, where you just need to add in a little bit of cleaner, have it blown out, you clear the error code, and hopefully it doesn't come back. If it does come back, then you very likely are going to have to change out the catalytic converter, which, like I said, is usually a straightforward thing, but it'll depend on how rusted up it is. One thing to keep in mind is that if the engine is running badly, like it's got a bad fuel injector or something like this, that could be leaking fuel back into the exhaust, and it could be clogging up the catalytic converter. So that is something to keep in mind, that if you do have this issue and the problem with the engine is not fixed, then it could come right back, because like a leaky fuel injector or something like that. Usually if that's happening, the engine won't be running good. So you'll be able to know. But that's also something to keep in mind with the P0422 code. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to give a real quick, brief overview of what you could do and how you go about fixing a Dodge with the P0422 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.